What is going on, everyone? Let me share the link real quick with Twitter, at least. And we'll get started. Join us live, late night. Tweet that out. And I will monitor over the chat here. But I wanted to take a look at this white paper. Bring the chat up, live chat. There we go. All right, Fluid Tokens, peer-to-peer, NFT, decentralized lending on Cardano. And this white paper can be found on their website, fluidtokens.com. We went live earlier today talking about just doing surface level and me just giving my thoughts and opinions on it from the perspective of the outsider looking in, just using the media that they provide to us. All right, so MetaMat, I have no idea who that is. I don't, unless we're talking about that Mateo dude, Mateo. I don't know if that's him. That's not very clear. Is this person a member? Is he on the team? Is this a guy that just wrote the white paper for them? That's not clear. But anyways, let's get started. Abstract. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, and non-fungible tokens, NFTs, are the latest big revolutions that the blockchain sector has offered to the public, increasing both the mass adoption of cryptocurrencies and the amount of value flowed into the crypto ecosystems. Cardano has been one of the biggest cradles for NFTs, and it's also going to offer DeFi services to keep up with the major blockchains. In this bright scenario, we have created the first ever generalized bridge between NFTs and DeFi. Fluid Tokens, a peer-to-peer DeFi lending platform where borrowers can use their NFTs as collateral. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't think it's a very genuine statement. What makes Cardano the biggest cradle for NFTs? Do we have any metrics that give us that back that statement? I don't think it is. I think there are other blockchains that have NFT communities just as big as Cardano. For one, Ethereum. So, yeah, not a big fan of that. I don't think that was necessary. Introduction. Traditionally, loans are a typical financial instrument used to increase the liquidity of the borrower party for a specific period of time, with the promise to the lender party that the provided liquidity will be returned with an additional interest, a premium for the risk that the lender is going to take. To mitigate the risk taken, the lender also requires a form of collateral, which can be currency, properties, stock, and more depending on the contract. In most cases, a traditional finance, the lender is a big institution or a bank, making it a fruitful core business mechanism, but staying inaccessible by small groups or single individuals. Some exceptions now exist, but they remain centralized solutions. I mean, I guess. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. So it just goes to links around the document. Decentralized finance, DeFi, is born as one of the many byproducts of blockchain technology, and it is rapidly revolutionizing the financial world. The adoption of its services across the many existing blockchains grows continuously thanks to the strong earnings incentives that are now available to everyone. Additional pros to DeFi are the lack of middlemen, therefore making the process faster and cheaper, and the possibility to switch from one cryptocurrency to any other, even if there's still some limits. And then they link to limits. I don't even know what they're linking to. Oh, problems, the path. Who are these links, dude? References. Okay. New DeFi services. I would have liked a reference for that statement. How about a link for that statement with the Cardano being the cradle of NFTs? Can we get a link for that statement? New DeFi services pop up every day. Yeah, you got that right. Improving the existing ones or offering new mechanics to manage the user's portfolio. But as the foundation of the DeFi pyramid, we always find decentralized exchanges, DEXs, and lending platforms. The latter, in particular, consists of users' liquidity pools that lend cryptocurrencies with similar mechanisms for traditional loans, requiring another cryptocurrency as collateral to mitigate the risk of unsolvable borrowers. Okay. Another blockchain byproduct that has exploded in popularity in the last few years are non-fungible tokens, NFTs. Unique crypto tokens with the ability to represent almost anything and to prove the ownership using the blockchain public ledger. Art, collectibles, game utilities, and much more are now strongly connected to NFTs, and some pieces have reached an intrinsic value of hundreds of thousands of US dollars, some even millions. The hidden problems with NFTs and with expensive art in general is that it's always difficult to find a strong demand support level for a single highly expensive piece. In other words, the value contained inside each NFT is highly illiquid, and it immobilizes an impressive amount of money that could be used to earn additional interest with other financial instruments such as trading, lending, investing, and even buying additional NFTs. Fluid Tokens is the first ever DeFi lending platform where borrowers can offer their most valuable NFTs as collateral to borrow cryptocurrency that can be reinvested and repaid under the requirements agreed by both parties. So this is a peer-to-peer thing that I talked about on the last video, which is a little concerning for me. NFT collateralized peer-to-peer lending. Benefits of the NFT DeFi generalized bridge. And here they go with that word bridge again. Let's see if in this we find out what that is and if it's just a word used to mean something that doesn't have any connection to technology. The crypto world has already moved billions of US dollars from traditional instruments, and it's characterized by an extremely fast money traffic among continuous new DeFi services in the constant attempt to maximize profits. NFTs, on the other hand, are the main mechanic that slows this flow as human interaction is needed to properly choose them, and having an extreme value NFT doesn't mean you can sell it easily to convert in the correspective amounts of crypto. As the crypto community has well established the intrinsic value of many existing NFTs, it makes it legal to transform them from illiquid to liquid assets using them as collateral for loans. In most cases, and with solid strategies, the earnings from borrowing and reinvesting crypto outbid the premium paid at the end of the loan. For example, any user could borrow to face unexpected expenses, to trade crypto pairs, to leverage the other DeFi protocols' interest, and to apply arbitrage on DEXs such as MilseySwap, SundaySwap, and MinSwap. Okay, word salad. On the other hand, lending can be a perfect way to diversify the user's investment portfolio, always considering the risks associated with it. That is the first time, this sentence right here is the first time they ever said that, hey, you could get wrecked or you could not win. I feel like there's a lot of fluff in a lot of their writings, and not just in this white paper, but just in their communication period. I have not once before that sentence seen them saying buyer beware or you could get wrecked in this situation. So that's really weird to me. That's a red flag. Plutus Cardano environment for smart contracts. I just feel there's most of these pages they finally start to getting into technical on the fourth page. But all of this is just like kind of word salad, mumbo jumbo, kind of educating people, but they're using. So if you could read this and understand what they're talking about, then you don't need to read this because you already know what NFTs are. You already know what borrowing and lending platforms are. You already know how DeFi works. I think they need to dumb this down, or maybe just not even do it at all. Put it in video form. You don't need to educate people on NFTs and DeFi in your white paper. It just seems kind of silly to me. You could have just started with the technical, or at least done a paragraph or a page on why you're doing this, the advantages that you have over other projects, the real advantages that you have over other projects, and where you plan on going. So I feel like this is just all kind of just silly fluff, but I'll read through it because we're here, right? Let's do this. Cardano blockchain works following the EUTXO model, where the amount of crypto owned by a user is the mathematical sum of all the unspent transactions output that point to the user's wallet address. I feel like they should have told us what these letters mean, because they're like educating noobs. They should have at least started there. Leveraging this model, users can mint their own tokens on the blockchain itself, and they will participate in the mathematical sum of the funds for each wallet address, setting the uniqueness of a single token, making it non-fungible. Users are able to mint NFTs and move them univocally on the network. Cardano also supports smart contracts written in Plutus, which is the subset of the Haskell functional language. In Cardano, a smart contract is a script that can own tokens at its address, and that always checks if any user or any other smart contracts is permitted to spend these tokens in a transaction. This is different from Ethereum, where smart contracts are softwares fully loaded on chain and that support several types of imperative languages constructs such as class inheritance. As NFTs, I feel like, what are we talking about at this point? What does any of this have to do with the platform? They're talking about Ethereum NFTs. So we're not going to support Ethereum NFTs? The largest, most expensive projects in the NFT space are on Ethereum. This is an undeniable fact. So we're just Xing them out, and we're only focusing on Cardano-based NFTs. That's fine, but why the word salad to just explain that? We know what NFTs are if we're looking at this, right? At least I hope so. And if you don't know what NFTs are and you're looking at this, my question is, why are you looking at this? Who are your prospective users? Are you looking for total noobs that don't know what an NFT is to use your platform? I don't think we should be doing that. I think we should be looking at people that understand what NFTs are and have minted some of the rarer NFTs on the Cardano network. I believe that those people know all of this stuff. Everything on this first 3 pages, they have that down if they own, 5-6 space buds and they're looking to collateralize them. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong. I don't know. Let me know if you feel that way, because I feel like they're kind of just shooting over the heads of the people that they're writing to. And then at the same time, the people that would be interested in this project, wouldn't they have the basic knowledge of what an NFT is and what the difference is between Cardano and Ethereum? That's just my 2 cents. In the current state of the art, Plutus has several limitations. The development of the language is still in progress. Therefore, documentation and examples are lacking, and setting up the environment is very error prone. There are also smart contract size limitations, and there are several SIPs that propose improvements to the Plutus framework. Okay, but what does that have to do with your peer-to-peer lending platform for NFTs? Blockchain congestion due to high traffic is another problem. Okay, we're still talking about Cardano's blockchain. When are we going to talk about Fluid token in the platform? What does any of this have to do with that? We're expected due time Cardano will raise a scalability and strong adapted blockchain. Okay. Fluid tokens is a series of Cardano contracts written in Plutus where the lending and borrowing logic is fully on-chain, therefore decentralized. The only off-chain part is the front end that allows to connect with the user's wallets and to easily interact with the lending platform. All right, here we go. The good stuff. Fluid tokens basic interaction flow. Fluid tokens loans are peer-to-peer. In other words, there's one borrower and one lender. I think this is where we're going to start to learn. And they are time-based with a deadline for the borrower to repay the debt. The logic of each possible Fluid tokens loan can be represented by a finite state machine, FSM, where each internal transaction can be executed only if there are all the necessary requirements to make the smart contract validator pass the proposed transaction or transition. Should that say transaction? Okay. Should that say transaction? Or am I tripping? It's late, but I think that should say transaction. The FSM of Fluid, and also why Fluid tokens? Why don't you just call it Fluid token? Why plural? That just weird. It's almost like the Facebook versus Facebook. Just take the S off. We don't need the S. It makes it weird to say. All right, so start. And then you have your borrow.request loan pending. And then we've got two paths. Lender.lend ADA, borrower nullify loan request. So looks like if the loan is pending, the lender can lend the ADA to activate the loan active, or the borrower can cancel the request. Current time, expiration time, loan expired. So we got loan pending, start, loan pending, loan active, loan expired. So the loan is active. So you got two destinations from loan active. Borrower.repays the debt. Boom. Or the current time expiration. The loan is expired. At that point, then the lender can claim the collateral NFT. Okay. It seems simple enough. It seems extremely simple. It just seems like, all right, the set of variables during the whole FSM process never change, but their actual value can change at every state transition. They are defined as follows. Borrower, the wallet address. The loan amount is the ADA value. The loan rate is the integer. Loan hours, integer. So rate and integer can change. Currency symbol, string. Token name, string. Lender, null, wallet address. Expiration time, lol. I don't know what that is. Let's briefly explain them. Borrower is this is good. This is what I like. Borrower is the wallet address of the borrower that initiates the new loan request. Loan amount is the amount of ADA requested, by the borrower. Loan rate is the premium value of the interest returned to the lender when the loan will be over. Loan hours represents the validity period of the loan, expressed as hours from the moment when the lender lends the required ADA to the borrower. So are we talking about, since it's in hours, are we talking about kind of like flash loans? Like, is this meant to be a short-term loan circumstance, or can you make it months? Like, why is it in hours? What do they believe? They should give us an example loan. what their ideal time frame is. And if they believe that it should be up to the two parties, the peers, then why is it in hours and not days? Do you want to kind of, I don't know, push the idea that it should be a shorter amount of time so it's based on hours? I don't know. Or is this just a programming thing? I feel like they should probably express why they did that. I think we had a question about these strings and the lender null, and then this line here. Let's see. Cryptocurrency single and token name are the two needed values to unequivocally identify the crypto. Okay, so yeah, that's the symbol or the token name. Is the lender wallet address where the variable will be null until the lending will actually take place. Expiration time is the deadline expressed in. Okay, so the deadline, expiration time. This is the deadline. Position, is that position time? Time for the borrower to repay the debt with the previously decided interest. Okay, is that where the interest goes? Where's the interest value represented in this? Time for the borrower to repay the debt with the previously decided interest. And when the lend is actually in progress, it's defined as expiration time equals the moment when the lender lent ADA plus the loan hours expressed in milliseconds. So we're lending ADA? Why ADA? ADA is not stable. Why aren't they lending in stablecoin? After the expression, you know what? Based on these questions that I kind of have, this is probably why Paribus started on Ethereum, for good reason. Loan hours expressed in milliseconds. After the expiration time, deadline, the lender is able to claim the collateral NFT as compensation. It's important to note the following things. No ADA or any other fungible token is locked inside the Fluid token smart contract, but only NFTs used as collateral. Interesting. Interesting. The borrower can, in any moment, repay the lender and get his or her locked NFT until the lender claims it as compensation. This means that the loan could finish much sooner than the expiration time value, and it also means that the borrower could repay the debt and claim the locked NFT as after the deadline if the lender hasn't claimed it yet. What? That's weird. All involved parties will have to communicate via smart contract and not privately to execute the transition of the FSM. So maybe it is transitions and not transactions. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. Why don't they just set a time? Why don't they pre-agree on, well, I guess if you set, no, that doesn't seem right to me. If you come to an agreement where I am going to lend you a cup of water in exchange for 5 ADA, and the time period is going to be 24 hours exactly, and if you don't pay it back, I claim the cup as my collateral, my compensation for the loan, and we shake on it, and we have a contract on that, and then we go forward, right? 24 hours passes. I'm in bed, right? Because we executed this contract in the middle of the night. I'm in bed sleeping. You failed to pay back the loan, and you're telling me that they can pay it back after the expiration of the contract as long as I am not around or I'm not paying attention. That doesn't seem like a contract to me. That seems kind of shady. So I'm sleeping, the contract expires, I have to be up and at a machine that can run the smart contract or I can interact with the smart contract and actually manually execute the collateral retrieval instead of the smart contract automatically doing that for me. That doesn't seem very smart, and that doesn't seem like a contract, but that's just me. How to properly define time instance on Plutus. Even if the user signs and sends a transaction at a precise point of time, there is no guarantee about when the transaction will be accepted and validated by the blockchain. This is a factor that will depend on network congestion. As an additional feature, Cardano transactions can be fully tested against Plutus smart contracts before being sent to the blockchain to avoid bad transactions and lose money with failed attempts. One of the most complex aspects of fully validating transactions off-chain is therefore the confirmation that the temporal point when each transaction is submitted respects the smart contract's temporal constraints. To allow that, instead of precise moments in time, transactions are considered as valid within a temporal slot interval defined by the user creating the transaction itself. If this interval respects the temporal constraints of the smart contract, then the transaction itself is considered valid. This temporal interval is normally referred to as the validity interval of the transaction. If the interval starts too far in the future or ends too far in the past, the transaction will never be validated on chain. I feel like that's a point where you might run into hacking. I don't know, but it seems like that could be a problem. I don't know. It could be. I'm just saying. Let me take a look here. Probably should throw the link at the Telegram. Here, let's do that. Actually, we've got it right here. Grab the link. Whoa, sorry about that. This is good stuff. I'm glad that I decided to do this. All right, we threw that in there. I don't like the time stuff. Well, I understand that that is probably a limitation when it comes to Plutus and Cardano when it comes to these smart contracts, because like I said in the previous video, Cardano smart contracts have not even been live for a year yet. And then again, when we look at these issues that I am running into live, in my mind, I go, this is probably why Cardano Foundation told Paribus to build on Solidity. Because why would you want to build a borrowing and lending platform that you can't force to adhere to the timing that you programmed into the smart contract? It's silly that you can say this loan is good for 48 hours and I take the collateral, but then you can pay it back at any time after as long as I haven't manually claimed the collateral. That doesn't make any sense. That's not an agreement. That goes against the agreement. At 48 hours, I want to take the collateral. I don't want to have to wake up in the middle of the night wherever, or have to be around a machine or a piece of technology that can interact with the Plutus smart contract to be able to take my collateral. I want it to happen automatically. Isn't that the point of all of this technology? If you don't meet the terms, I want the contract to execute and give me my collateral. It's mine now. That's the agreement. In Fluid Tokens loans, the lender must define a validity interval of 1 hour to lend money, and this interval will contain, with high probability, the time slot when the real blockchain will validate in the lend transaction, properly starting the loan period and setting the expiration time. The borrower will be able to repay the lending the lender at any time since the start of the loan, so it won't have to set up any particular validity interval for his or her transactions. If the lender wants to claim the collateral NFT after the loan expiration, he or she will have to set a validity interval with a starting slot greater than the expiration value. Why? Why can't the expiration value be programmed, be what is set in the contract? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you want a varying time for repayment? You can take advantage of that then. Why would I want to be involved in a transaction where we set terms, we agree to them, but then they can go outside of those terms? Differences from existing DeFi lending platforms. This might get good. Even if the concepts of collateralized loans is the same as a traditional finance, there are important differences from the most common lending platforms existing on Cardano and all the other blockchains. Collaterals are NFTs and not other types of cryptocurrencies. There are no liquidity pools that users can join with small amounts. It's peer-to-peer, meaning that a single user or organization must provide all necessary liquidity requested by the borrower. Borrowed positions are not liquidated if the collateral value becomes too low, but the loan must be fully repaid in a single transaction within the decided amount of time. Therefore, borrowers must remember to correctly close their positions within the deadlines. That's interesting. So there's no oracles? Did they mention oracle above? Any oracles? Okay. What? Blockchain congestion to high traffic is another problem, and smart contracts don't have any access to oracles such as to fetch off-chain data. But didn't we talk about that in the chat, on the Paribus chat, where they didn't mention Oracle? So how are we getting price feeds for the value of things? You don't. There's no Plutus backend that would be compatible. And they have a link here, source link, Chainlink. What's it linked to? It's Chainlink's freaking website. Oh my God. I am not a programmer, but I see flaws in the programming of this. I see flaws in the immaturity. Well, I won't say that's a flaw within Cardano, right? Cardano is what Cardano is. It is building. It has smart contracts now. These smart contracts are very new. They are infants. They haven't even been up for a year now. And they are building a peer-to-peer borrowing and lending platform on something that kind of isn't ready for it. And it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand who would want to do this. Where's the stable coin? I don't want to take a loan. I don't want to have, say for instance, I don't know, a Claymate. It's worth 10,000 ADA. I don't want to take out a loan I don't want to take out a loan on with anything other than stablecoin. Like, I want stablecoin. Let me decide what I want to do. So you're telling me that I can loan it out. They can say, okay, this thing is worth 10,000 ADA. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to lend it out for 7,000 USDC. USDC is stable. I know I'm going to get 7,000 USDC back on repayment regardless of the markets. So you're telling me that we have to use ADA, a token that's not stable. It can go up, it could go down, but the terms of the loans are exact. You take out the loan, I give you 6,000. You get 6,000 ADA. The market tanks. 6,000 ADA is not worth, $6,000. it's now worth $2,000. The term of the loan says that all you have to pay back is 6,000 ADA, regardless of the value of that 6,000 ADA, and you meet the obligations of the loan. That's kind of crazy to me. Why would you want to do this without using stablecoin? Every borrowing and lending platform uses stablecoin. They're talking about they're going to be the first one to not use stablecoin. Oh my gosh. There's no liquidity pools that users can join with small amounts. It's peer-to-peer, meaning that a single user or organization, and how is an organization going to use this if it's non-KYC? Must provide all the necessary liquidity requested by the borrower. Borrowed positions are not liquidated if the collateral value becomes too low, but the loan must be fully repaid. That's a huge problem. The collateral value becomes low because it moves up and down. If the value is low and hits a threshold, then it gets liquidated automatically on a traditional borrowing and lending platform. On this platform, they're saying that it won't be. You just have to eat the losses. There's nothing to force you to liquidate based on markets. That is extremely, extremely risky. You're basically playing 3D chess with the markets and the value of your NFT. Who in the hell would do this? Unless you're talking about doing this with like NFT projects where the token's worth like 10 to 50 ADA. This makes no sense. You sweep the floor on some new project that no one's ever heard of, and you can convince people to give you a loan on a bunch of them. That adds up to a bunch of money. But I just don't understand or see why any one person or an organization would play a game where they stand to lose from multiple angles, and there's nothing that you can do to program your own security and safety into it. I don't like who's going to use this? Lenders and borrower incentives. Fluid tokens strongly incentivizes lenders to participate in the ecosystem, providing liquidity and earning interest. Lenders do not pay any fees to lend money except for the blockchain transaction fees, which are at the time of writing very cheap. There is no limit on the number of lends that each user can activate. On a borrower side, for the very first time in crypto history, NFTs can be seen as collaterals. I feel like they're really banking on this first time. We're the first to do this. This is the first time ever. And nothing else seems to really matter because nothing else about this platform makes any sense to me. On the borrower side for the very first time, like who cares? Who cares if you're the first? If this doesn't work, it doesn't make any sense. It has no value. They can be seen as collaterals and made liquid. Extremely risky liquid. In addition, the borrower has to pay a small fee to fluid tokens proportional to the amount of borrowed ADA. What proportion? This fee drastically decreases if the borrower owns a minimum amount of fluid tokens, native token. More on that in section 3. That's why I don't like the fact that the name is plural. It makes it weird to read. If the borrower owns a minimum amount of fluid tokens, native token, fluids token, native token. This sounds stupid. I'm sorry. This is just silly. I really believed that we were going to have a contender for Paribus, and that it was going to be like, this is going to cause some cool kind of, competition, but this is literally, I'm sorry. You can get mad at me, social media influencers, but this kind of sucks. This is kind of crap. Peer to peer, no oracles. No liquidation, no automatic liquidation, no thresholds. This just makes no sense. No stable coins, This makes no sense. Native token for governance, lower fees and visibility. Fluid tokens will provide a native Cardano cryptocurrency to incentivize the following aspects. Governance, the protocol, the parameters, and additional smart contract services may be released in Fluid Token's ecosystem. We want to adopt a DAO form of governance where all the native token owners will be able to propose changes, ideas, and vote for the better of the ecosystem. Okay. Lower borrower fees. Owning certain amounts of native token will allow borrowers to pay less fees on the requested loans. Different tiers will give different discounts. Featured loans. A dedicated section on Fluid Token's website will prioritize loans that will have burnt a required amount of native tokens to appear as featured, getting increased visibility and a higher probability of being chosen by lenders. So you are going to fish. So that makes the timing aspect that more concerning. Will there be an alert system when your loan is triggered? And if so, how would that be delivered? What if you're on vacation and you have a loan out on you have a smart contract out for, I don't know, let's say an NFT, a CNFT that's worth $5,000. You put it out there. You're on vacation. And while you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean in the Mediterranean Sea, someone bites on the loan. The expiration time is, I don't know, 3 days. What do you do? How do you know that it's gotten accepted? Do you get an alert? This just seems crazy. This actually seems crazy. More use cases for the native token will be investigated with the community, and airdrops and collaborations will be used to ensure a big involvement of the Cardano community. That's worded weird, and I don't understand why they would need to do that. Fluid Token's upcoming ecosystem. Fluid Token is a revolutionary component of the DeFi world, and it gives new life to the beauty of NFTs. The metric of the NFT loan on the Fluid Tokens, such as loan volume, highest repaid loan, will support the already existing metrics available in the biggest NFT marketplaces such as CNFT.io and JPEG Store. These metrics will increase the responsible adoption of valid NFT collections, discouraging the NFT created with the only purpose of riding the general hype. How are they going to do that without oracles? Some NFT collections could be found so generally accepted to be used as collaterals by the community that they could become a sort of globally shared currency standard. We're also looking forward, that's speculation. We're also looking forward to the creation of investment funds that will collect considerable amounts of ADA to fully lend the most expensive and interesting NFT loans on Fluid Tokens. So fixing. Some funds will create algorithms to calculate the risk-reward factor of the available loans and redistribute the earnings to the Fluid liquidity providers. When Cardano fully implements Oracle support, because they currently don't have it, why would you want to interact with this stuff before there's an ability to determine how much things are actually worth? Finally, we're looking forward to an official Cardano bridge with Ethereum to provide NFT loans cross-chain. So after you talked trash about Ethereum and talked trash about Paribus for using Ethereum, now you're talking about in the section 4 that you're looking forward to a bridge. Man, come on with this. And that's 5. Where is that? That's 4. What? They talked trash about Paribus for using Milkomeda and developing Solidity. And now they're talking about using the same technology to bridge NFTs to a blockchain that they trash talked in their own white paper. Oh. Do the ambassadors know about this? I have a lot of respect for the Learn Cardano podcast. And Pete's a pretty smart dude. And he makes good videos. I am really curious as to what he feels about these problems that I have. How are you going to trash Paribus for doing something that you plan on doing but aren't capable of doing it yet? How are you going to trash talk every other NFT community on other blockchains and then talk about interoperability? How are you going to trash talk Paribus for being interoperable and that you're going to support the CNFT community and then talk about interoperability at the end of your white paper? I don't know what is going on here. Wow. I don't know, people. I'm just a guy reading papers. I'm just a guy looking at these projects for what they are. I'm just a guy. What? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. I'm probably going to chop this live into an actual video. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. Very interested in what you guys think, though. But I just had to go live and read this. Thank you for checking out the channel. Hit that like, hit that share, drop your comments. What do you think about this? Tag Pete from the Learn Cardano podcast. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. Cardano's not ready for this type of peer-to-peer. There's just so many important stops and features, safety features, that Cardano just doesn't have right now to be building something like this. I think it's irresponsible. But thank you again for watching. Hit that like, hit that share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.